Hi everyone. In this session, we will discuss about perceptron convergence, or you can call it as perceptron convergence theorem. Actually, the perceptron convergence theorem states that for any data set which is linearly separable, the perceptron learning rule is guaranteed to find a solution in a finite number of steps. So, what the author is telling is the perceptron convergence theorem states that if we take a data set which is linearly separable, in that situation the perceptron learning rule guarantees to find a solution in finite number of steps. In other words, the perceptron learning rule is guaranteed to converge to a weight vector that correctly classifies the examples provided the training examples are linearly separable. So here a function is said to be linearly separable when its outputs can be discriminated by a function which is a linear combination of features. That is, we can discriminate its outputs by a line or a hyperplane. Okay, that's what the author is telling, perceptron convergence theorem. So we have the algorithm, so we will go with the algorithm. So here the algorithm. So we will go with the algorithm. The first step is initialization. Okay. If you see, step 1 is initialization. Step 2 is activation. Okay. Step 3 is computation. Step 4 is adaptation. Step 5 is continuation. Okay. So we will go with step 1, initialization. So here initially we have to set all the weights to 0. Okay, all the weights are initialized to 0 initially. Okay, then we have to perform the following computations for time step n equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. So now the second step is activation. Okay, at time step n, activate the perceptron by applying input vector xn and desired response dn, where xn is the input vector, dn is the desired response, means expected output. Okay, so we have to activate xn dn. Xn is the input vector, dn is the expected output. Next, the third step is computation of actual output. So we have to compute the actual output. So before going for actual output, so first we have to calculate so the cumulative input yin equal to b plus sigma equal to 1 to n xi wi. So this is the summation input summation. So from this we will calculate the actual output. So the actual output y of n or yn, y of n equal to we will apply activation function on the cumulative input, that is f of yin. So that equal to 1 if yin is greater than theta, and it is 0 if yin lies between minus theta and theta, and it is minus 1 if yin is less than or equal to minus theta. Okay, so this already we have discussed in the earlier classes, right? Next, step 4. The step 4 is about adaptation of weight vector, means updating the weight vector. So w of n plus 1 is nothing but updating the weight, new weight. W of n plus 1 equal to new weight equal to w of n, it is the old weight, plus neta, learning rate, into d of n, means expected output, minus y of n, actual output, into x of n, that is the input vector. So d of n, so that is nothing but desired response or expected output equal to plus 1 if input vector x of n belongs to class C1, and it is minus 1 if the input vector belongs to class C2. Okay, so next is continuation. So increment time step n by 1 and go back to step 2, and we should keep on repeating these 5 steps. Till how much time we have to repeat? Till, see, if you see the desired response and the actual response, or expected output and actual output, if they both are almost the same, or if the difference is 0, till that point we should keep on doing this, because So when this becomes 0, when d of n minus y of n is 0, then w of n plus 1 equal to, means new weight equal to old weight plus neta into 0 into x of n. So we will get this entire as 0, means old weight is nothing but the new weight. New weight and old weight are the same. Till that point we should keep on doing this, right? So this is all about perceptron convergence theorem. Okay, thank you. Next we will see limitations of a perceptron. So here the first limitation or the first drawback is the perceptron training always converges with the training data x plus and x minus if the training data is linearly separable. Okay, then only the perceptron training converges. Okay, so here this is the drawback. Okay, the perceptron training always converges with the linearly separable data set only. Okay, otherwise it may fail to converge. The second drawback is the Boolean function exclusive OR is not linearly separable. Okay, why? Because the positive and negative instances cannot be separated by a single straight line or cannot be separated by a line or a hyperplane. So it cannot be computed by a single layered perceptron. It cannot be learned by a single layered perceptron. If you see the figure, the first figure is linearly separable. In the first figure, so there were two set of classes, positive class, negative class. Positive is represented with plus and negative class are represented with minus. See, we are able to draw a straight line which separates positive classes as one class, negative class as another class. So see here, we are able to separate them. That's why they are linearly separable. So in the second figure, non-linearly separable. In the second figure, so we can't draw a single straight line which separates the positive class as well as the negative class. We can't draw a straight line. So the second one is the example for non-linearly separable patterns. Hope you have identified the difference between linearly separable, non-linearly separable. Linearly separable means if you are able to separate two classes, if you are able to separate two different classes by drawing a single line, then we say that those were linearly separable. If you are not able to draw a straight line by separating two different classes or which separates two different classes, then we call them as non-linearly separable. Okay, hope you have felt the difference. You have felt the difference between linearly separable and non-linearly separable. Okay, thank you.